Summer blockbusters don't come much bigger than this. Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark returns in this sequel to one of the surprise hits of 2008, and all is not well. Not only is the Iron Man suit accelerating his death, eating up the power cells his prosthesis uses to keep him alive, but a new threat surfaces in the form of Ivan Vanko, a Russian with a grudge against Stark, who is bent on destroying Iron Man in revenge for the treatment of his scientist father. To top it off, the American government is trying to seize the Iron Man suit from Stark in order to make new weapons for the army, a move made by an ambitious corporate arms manufacturer, Justin Hammer, who is so desperate for the technology he kidnaps Vanko to work for him. As the bad guys close in on him with variants of the Iron Man, Stark has to battle not only them but his own personality and impending death. Iron Man 2 has a lot of expectations riding on its shoulders and fortunately doesn't let itself down. The characters have a reasonable level of complexity, enough to keep them from becoming bland, and in particular Tony Stark is a rather flawed hero, caught up in the playboy lifestyle and the manic celebrity his alter ego has afforded him. The man with a massive ego is counterpointed by the man who realises he's dying, and when he's not playing up to the crowd he shows moments of sincerity, which allow you to like him despite his overbearing personality. Character cover is enjoyable as he swings from his public egomaniac persona to someone who's actually quite likeable, humorous, and occasionally vulnerable. Mickey Rourke's turn as Ivan Vanko is also rather good. His motivations are believable and understandable, and his drive for revenge isn't a reason to hate him. In fact, he's quite a likeable character too, despite his place as the bad guy. Though to be fair, the true bad guy is in fact the, albeit kinda cliché corporate jerk, Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell, who is a really detestable, greedy and selfish slimeball, and rightly so. Just from these three characters there's a commendable level of conflict, not only between themselves, but from the audience's reactions to them, and that at least bumps this film a notch or two, and the supporting characters tend to be full enough to be interesting, but for the most part are simply used, though rather well, as a foil to push the lead characters' personalities forward. And very few characters are totally wasted. It's nice to see a movie of this kind actually take time for characterization, and it's quite satisfying. The story, however, is a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, the main thrust of the story is quite interesting and Vanko makes for a motivationally credible and interesting villain. Also, Stark's progression lifts him above mere explosion maker. However, the story tends to meander, touching base on so many points, but not really resolving them to any satisfactory degree. For instance, Stark's quest to find a new power source seems at first to be a big plot point, but is subsequently resolved in the most throwaway fashion. There are several plot points that seem to go this way, big deal, big deal, big deal, sorted, and it feels rather disappointing. The story could have been served better by paring down the side plots to those which would further the narrative, expanding on them rather than running the time out with a multitude of distractions that clutter this film. Overall, the story does feel like it's going somewhere, only to be wrapped up in a rather expedited manner, and that's a shame. Although given the nature of this film it's not really too big a deal, just a little disappointing. There are plenty of moments that also just seem rather nonsensical, such as Vanko's ability to create a suit of his own in the most basic of conditions. When you look at it, considering the failed attempts by governments across the world, and here's Vanko filing down pieces of scrap metal and soldering his way to a fully operational mechanical augmentation. In terms of action and special effects, the movie more than delivers in spades. Visually it feels suitably comic book and the scale is predictably larger than life. It's all very exciting, although in certain sequences it becomes somewhat of an overload of excessive bass and wall-to-wall explosions. It's not unsurprising in these terms, and frankly, if you wanted subtlety from this kind of sequence, then the blockbuster isn't the place to look for it. Iron Man 2 assaults your eyeballs and ears with a cacophony of destruction as it overdoses on steroid-abusing SFX. My main criticism is that it does rather shoot its load a bit prematurely. By the time you get to the end sequence, you've really seen it all before. All things considered though, Iron Man 2 is by no means a bad movie. It's just got too many faults to call it a really good movie. The first time you watch this you will notice the faults, but they don't matter to a degree that's truly detrimental. But I do feel that on multiple viewings the cracks will really begin to show. This said, it's fun enough to be worth catching at the cinema on the big screen, where the scale of the action scenes can be really appreciated. There's enough of a story and a decent level of characterization to hold the interest, and to expand on the world of the Iron Man. But it does suffer from having too much to cover, and there are several disappointing conclusions to elements of the plot. Fun, loud, and not entirely dumb, Iron Man 2 is far from disappointing, but isn't entirely satisfying.